everyone! This week I want to talk about Java EE, Jakarta EE, EE4J, Enterprise Java, MicroProfile, basically everything that has to do with Java and the enterprise. But to kind of explain what all the different things are, we need to go back in history. Yo! It all started in 1999. The year we first watched the Matrix movies. Oh yeah! Also, Phantom Menace. With Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my, I love you!
But it's also the year Napster was launched and the year everyone was still worried about the year 2K Millennium Bug. It was a year after the launch of Java 2, the standard edition. And now Sun is releasing a new version, targeted at the enterprise. Java 2, the Enterprise Edition, better known as J2EE. This Enterprise Edition consists of a set of APIs, specifications and so-called TCKs, compatibility kits. The basic idea is that you could write your code against these known APIs and you would buy a server that has the implementation of those APIs. And those APIs ranged from Java server pages, JSPs, to JDBC, GNDI and AGB, Enterprise Java Beans, like grown-up stuff. To actually use these APIs, you need an application server that implements those APIs. And the idea is that you could go to your vendor and often they would have a J2EE certified server you could install and run in your enterprise. The versioning was simple. Java 2 EE was released with Java 2. Then Sun released Java 2 SE 1.3. Like basically it's Java 3 but it's called 1.3 but it's still Java Platform 2, so it's Java 2 SE and Java 2 EE 1.3. Next Sun launched Java 1.4, that means you had J2 SE 1.4 and they also released J2 EE 1.4. And they added more and more stuff like JAS, extra security, JAXP, JSF, Java server faces. But problems started to appear. AGB was considered to be bloated, hard to use. Alternatively, Spring Framework started to use POJOs, plain old Java objects, still using XML configuration, but it was much easier to use than the bloated AGBs. Also, when 1.4 was released, the web framework war started to erupt. So people didn't want to have JSPs, but JSF was enterprisey but hard to use, so you had struts and Wicked and Spring MVC. People started to use community-driven frameworks to make enterprise applications. So it was time for Sun and Java to move on, to take all the ideas from those frameworks that started to emerge and put them into the enterprise Java world. In 2004, Sun released Java SE 1.5, but they dropped the Platform 2. So it was no longer Java 2, it was just Java. They accepted the fact that the 2 was not needed anymore, so it became known as Java SE 5. They also moved from 1.5 to 5. J2EE or Java EE needed to follow this as well, so it became known as Java EE5. In 2004, the name J2EE was dropped. So, small sidestep. For over 14 years, the name J2EE has been obsolete. But still, there are hundreds and hundreds of job listings looking for J2EE developers. What the hell's wrong with this? Anyway, Sun and later Oracle started to look into these community-driven frameworks and libraries, and they started to extract new common APIs from this. A good example is CDI, Context and Dependency Injection, which is a new way to have POJO-driven dependency injection in Java EE, is heavily based on Spring and Spring Framework. These new specifications kept Java EE modern and relevant. This continued into Java EE7 and Oracle started work on Java EE8. Something happened during the development of Java EE8 though. Oracle kept pushing the deadlines back and progress came to a halt, and it seemed like Oracle was no longer interested in Java EE. Some people very close to Oracle started to notice these problems and they wanted to do something about them. They started a new movement called the Java EE Guardians. Their goal was to watch over Java EE, over the process, over the specifications and implementations, and to create awareness and spread the word. In August 2017 it became official. Oracle released a statement that they were opening up Java EE. Basically this meant they were ditching Java EE, but they wanted to transfer the entire project to a new open source community. This included the reference implementation, Glassfish, but also the TCKs, the compatibility kits, and the specifications itself. Oracle worked together with IBM and Red Hat, and they selected the Eclipse Foundation as a new home for the Enterprise Edition. This new group in charge of leading the transition and in charge of the EE process is called the Eclipse Enterprise for Java, or short EE4J. And amongst other things, their first goal was to find a new name for Java EE, because the name Java itself is trademarked, so it can't be called Java EE anymore. As all we developers know, naming things is hard, and this turned out to be the case for Java EE as well. A lot of new names were proposed, but of the hundreds of names, only a couple of them were feasible, because most had legal trouble or were already trademark names in countries, and this turned out to be a big problem. And eventually they settled on the name Jakarta. Jakarta EE. So first of all, Jakarta is the capital of the island of Java, so that's a nice connection. Also, the name Jakarta was already used by the Apache Foundation as a group term for all their Java open source projects. Apache kindly agreed to transfer the rights to the Jakarta name to the EE4J group, so they could use it for Java EE. And the name might be used in the future for other things as well, maybe Java or Jakarta ME or Jakarta MicroProfile, anything. So it's a good name, I think. And that's about it. So now you know where Java EE comes from, you know where Jakarta EE comes from, and you know you're an idiot if you're still using J2EE. But wait, I just mentioned MicroProfile. So how does that fit into the whole Java EE, Jakarta EE discussion? Parallel to everything I just said, in 2016 a new initiative was launched, and it's called MicroProfile. And it's being backed by companies like Bayara, Red Hat, IBM, Tommy Tribe, and the London Java community LGC. So the goal behind MicroProfile is to be able to use the power of Java EE or Jakarta EE, but to use it very lean in a microservice-based environment. So they're aiming for a baseline which consists of JUXRS, CDI and JSONP. Just those three. So instead of having a full-blown Java EE server, you'll just have a MicroProfile compliant server. This allows you to use the Java EE commonality and portability, but have a lean, small microservice. So, to summarize. 1. J2EE is dead, and it has been for 14 years. Please stop using it. It died before Facebook came into existence. Really. 2. Java EE is dying, but it's being revived as Jakarta EE, and it's being taken care of by the EE4J group. Fourthly, there is MicroProfile, which is a whole different direction for the enterprise Java, but they're going towards a more lean baseline, maybe even modular approach of Java EE, which is very interesting to follow. So will this be enough for enterprise Java to survive? Will they catch up with Spring Boot or keep up with Spring Boot? I'm not sure. So what do you think? Leave a comment below.